When we talk about the tremendous potential of blockchain, it's important to compare it to the tremendous platforms that we've had up until this point, and to draw out some of their shortcomings. One of the first ones is inclusion. For the tremendous breadth that the internet has had in circling the globe in the free flow of information, or mostly free flow of information, there are still large communities that are unserved. There is still a large digital divide. There are approximately 2 billion people that do not participate in this new digital world. They are the same people that are unbanked. They are the same people that do not have government-issued IDs. They are the same people that do not participate in our modern economy. So although it is a tremendous good to the world when we think about the properties such as free flow of education and other such types of information, there are still challenges to be addressed. The other one is that it's dominated by a handful of large companies. If you think about the platforms of email, by its design, it is a decentralized technology. That means that every one of us that participates on this platform could have their own email server. However, because of the practicalities, because of the technology, because of some of the requirements and some of the knowledge that is required to run these systems, we practically have a handful of providers. And that leads us to the question of privacy and the question of government oversight, the question of Big Brother, some of the big themes that have been talked about in many very widely read novels. And so the question here is one of what level of privacy do we want? What level of insight or inspection does the government have? And for those of us in the western part of the world, in the United States and Western Europe, we've seen a number of challenges to the activities that governments are carrying out. And it doesn't matter where you fall in the discussion, it is an open question how much oversight or how much inspection government should have. And some of this happened before, but it happened in the physical world. And so now we're seeing this being played out on the platforms that we've used up until now. Part of the discussion as well is the question of provenance, the question of veracity. How much can we trust the information that is free, that is flowing through these networks freely many times? In the past, many publications established their reputation through many years. However, when it comes to what we are seeing today, the information is flowing simply too fast. We do not know what we can trust. In many occasions, it is doubtful even the provenance of where this information comes from. And so over time, what we see is that some of the underlying assumptions of our democracies in the West are being questioned, because if the information that the population is receiving cannot be trusted, how can they make good decisions about the leaders that represent them? Now, the other question as well is one of security. We've had hierarchical information systems throughout the world. Many organizations are organized this way. Many governments are organized this way. In fact, most governments and organizations are organized this way. So if you compromise the top of this hierarchy, you are providing a serious challenge to the integrity and security of these platforms. When it comes to blockchain, a very different model is presented. One where instead of centralized, powerful organizations, you have a peer-to-peer system throughout the world. The last one that I'll mention as well is that of critical infrastructure. As more and more devices join the global networks that we use for earlier access to information, which is without a doubt an advantage, we suffer the same type of risks that we do in our information networks. So one of the questions here that needs to be asked is, to what degree do we continue with the current organization and architectures that we've had, and when do we start to test the blockchain systems that provide the potential for very different type of security, a very different level of robustness? Now, it doesn't mean that blockchain is a silver bullet. We've never seen that with any technology up until now. However, there is a serious question here that needs to be asked, and there are some serious shortcomings when it comes to the architectures that we used up until now. And so when it comes to blockchain, consider these trade-offs and consider some of the properties that we're looking to blockchain for. In many cases, we might see variants of these original tenets. If you think about what I mentioned about email and email service and decentralization and the practical reality of today, what will happen when blockchain is widely implemented? And so these are some of the serious questions to ask and some of the shortcomings that you want to put your finger on.